Good evening. I am Phyllis Logan, your host for the Chicago Westside branch NAACP, and we have a jam-packed half an hour conversation that we want to bring to you this evening. Feel free to call in. We are live 312-738-1060. Call in with your questions or comments. And as always, we are the Chicago Westside NAACP. So, this weekend, Saturday, to be exact, is the first Saturday of the month. We host our open forums, our open meetings to you, the public, as well as to our general membership population. And we welcome you to be a part of that. That's this Saturday at 5820 West Chicago Avenue. Feel free to give our office a call at 773-261-5890. New memberships are welcome. So there you have it. We are the Chicago Westside branch NAACP. I want to continue on with some information that we started with last week with the Chicago forfeiture process for vacant properties. This is truly important. People are looking for ways and means and how they can become homeowners, participate in owning some of the properties that the city of Chicago owns, as well as the properties that are on the market. There's almost 2,000 properties, as we talked about last week, that will be available to the public to purchase by way of a forfeiture process with the City of Chicago's Department of Buildings. We're actually having our first of many meetings this evening at our office location, 5820 West Chicago Avenue at 6:30 p.m. That's within the next hour at 6:30 p.m. We're going to talk about the over 450 properties that are available in the 24th Ward, the 27th Ward, the 28th Ward, as well as the 29th Ward. We will have contractors, developers, as well as first-time home buyers, individuals that are interested in owning a piece of property in our audience. We invite you to join, come out for some Q&A session on how this process works for you to acquire properties for bare minimum and walk into ownership with equity to start off with. And that's the most important thing, is when you can walk into a piece of property that already has equity to it. What's important to you is another question we want to put out there to you. 312-738-1060. Call in with your questions or comments. Be a part of the conversation. Let's talk about right now the state of Chicago as it relates to housing. Chicago is rebuilding. They've got projects going on downtown in the Loop. They've got projects going on in on the north side of Chicago, as well as the south and western suburbs. Our question to the city of Chicago's administration is, where does the south side and the west side fit in? Give us a call, 312-738-1060. Let us know your thoughts and your comments, because it's truly important that we hear from you, the public. We've also stated that if you have anyone who does not have access to CAN TV from their cable company, they can always go online to CAN TV online/live, LIVE, to still be able to participate in the conversation and hear the show. The other thing that the Chicago Department of Buildings, one of our real big issues, and you've heard it throughout the news for the last month or so, the mayor is allowing the buildings department, by way of the building courts, demolish single families, 2 to 4 unit buildings, properties within our many communities. What are your thoughts on the demolition making our communities look blight? Vacant land everywhere, sprawled everywhere, not having access to economic development, as well as just per economics. There's no corner stores, no shops within our community, nowhere where we can spend our dollars locally and have those dollars returned or recycled within our community. If you have got to have a concern with that. Here on the west side of Chicago, the number of grocery stores that are accessible once you go west of Western is bare minimum. Grocery store on Holman and Roosevelt, from Western to Holman and Roosevelt, and then going further west past Austin Boulevard. Where are the grocery stores? Where are the economics in our communities that keep our dollars recycling within our communities? The other issue that we have is, how do we, the community stakeholders, participate? How do you, as an individual, get to participate in the revitalization of Chicago? We know that it's going on, but they're missing out on the inclusionary process, where you and I, those that are familiar with our communities, our communities are not labeled a Black community, an African American community, as some other communities are. We don't have a African American community known nationwide as the Chinatowns that exist throughout many of our urban communities. There's a problem with that. Call us with your questions or comments, 312-738-1060. The other concern that we have is, what role will you play? We're trying to find out what roles our elected officials that represent us within our communities, what role do they play when it comes to the urban planning for the city of Chicago? How does that fit into where you can benefit from the economics that come through your part of town? Whether it's South Side, West Side, East Side, North Side, it does not matter. If your community does not engage you in the process, then something's wrong. And if you have individuals who you've elected to represent you, and they're not bringing the information directly through to you through community meetings, through ward meetings, then you should have a problem with that. I encourage you to call us in with your questions or comments. We are the NAACP, and our goals and objectives are to make sure that we end discrimination and that we disseminate information equitably throughout the city of Chicago. So 312-738-1060. The other question, as I stated before, are you concerned enough? Are you truly concerned enough to want to know how can you participate in the revitalization of the city of Chicago? We know that some homeowners, another topic that we're going through right now, we know that many homeowners are still struggling, wanting to keep the homes that they have because of the economic crisis. President Obama put into effect this program called the Making Home Affordable program, which assists many families with modifying their loans. That program, as we've stated before in our last two programs, will be ending this year, December 31st. What happens to people who have not been privy to the information, who don't know that their resources are within the housing counseling agencies within their community, who find that information out too late and then need assistance at the 12th hour of this program ending? How do they get service, and how do they retain their homes? So these are big issues that we have and concerns that we have here in the middle of the year, June the 2nd, 2016, knowing that their opportunities will expire come December 31st of this year. So we've got to do a better job. The program, Making Home Affordable, expires December 31st. What will happen when families who still need assistance to modify their loans to keep their homes, what will they do? What programs will be available to them, and how will they access that information if they're not in tune to where these resources are coming from? What we don't know is what will take place, what will happen, what will take the place of the Making Home Affordable. We're hoping to have some answers before the next 3 months are ending to be able to assist those families. We have a caller. Caller, your question or comment? Yes, caller,
Hello?
your question or comment.
Oh, well, I have a comment and a question.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I live in Inglewood, and I want to know, how do I get involved in the revitalization? Because the alderman over here, where he just got elected, but there's nothing that's coming over on this certain end. You do have a lot of Hispanics that are moving into this area. They're buying up a lot of property. And as far as the people that live in the community, they don't even know where to go to even buy a piece of property, or if it's available to them. I was also listening to you talk about the various areas of, nationalities. We don't have a name for our community because we're not, we for somehow, I don't know how this works, but we do need to get a grip on our own community because we have so much to give. We go out in other communities and we spend all of our money when we can spend it among ourselves. And I would like to know what's the first process of doing this stuff or getting things going.
Well, I appreciate that, caller. Your question as well as the comments that you made, and I will take a brief moment. Number one, it starts with us being involved in the whatever opportunities that come to our communities. It also means that we need to charge and hold elected officials who we elect to represent us. We need to hold them accountable for distributing in a timely fashion, information that's needed to us in order for us to be empowered and expand on our, on our economics. How can we prosper if we don't know where the opportunities are? Anything government related, your elected official's office, be it the alderman, be it your Cook County commissioner, be it your state representative, your state senator, be it your U.S. congressman, or the one U.S. senator that we do have in the state of Illinois. They should be very privy of all information that affect our economies. And what you have to do is pride yourself to making the phone calls and asking the questions to say, what is it that I need to know and how can you help me here or there? They have all of the information. The information's right there available to them. The same way we do the research, we research based on their web pages, be it the city, the county, or the state. We do our research, we retrieve data that they have, and then we disperse it out to you, which means that information is privy to them first. Before any programs, products, or services are offered to our community, our elected officials have already discussed the opportunities. So you need to hold them accountable. Number two, the mere fact that the program that we're offering this evening at our meeting is the City of Chicago's forfeited property list. That information is known by your elected official, your alderman. And I hear you say you have a new alderman out in the Inglewood area. That alderman is very much aware and should have an assistant to do the research to be able to bring these resources back to your community. So you have to hold your elected official accountable for you not hearing of information until it's too late for you to participate. And I think that's been one of our biggest thorns, is that we hear about the information after the fact, then it's too late. So hold your elected official accountable. We have another caller. Caller, your question or comment?
Can I make a comment about property tax redemption? It's one of the biggest racket areas.
Hold on, caller. Can you start again? I didn't hear your beginning.
Are you familiar with property tax redemption in Cook County?
Yes.
I think it's one of the biggest rackets there is, because property taxes come like twice a year, and if you miss paying your property taxes, how they can really increase, and if you don't redeem your tax within that 2-year period, how it can go for a few $100 to a couple $1,000s, and you don't want to wind up going to the courts, and you can talk about something that maybe was $600 could wind up being like an easy $7,000-8,000.
Mm-hmm. I'm very familiar.
It's one of the biggest rackets there is, because you got these places that out of state that come in and buy the property taxes, and by the time you go to court, guess what? It's really out of hand. You can't. When you look at a lot of these abandoned properties, a lot of times it's due to people not able to redeem those taxes back within a 2-year period.
Well, caller, let me respond to you real briefly. My heart goes out to our elders, our seniors, first and foremost, who may not be in a financial position when it comes time to pay those bills twice a year. Illinois or Chicago, Cook County, our taxes are paid the year after. So we're just paying 2015's taxes. The first installment comes out the first half of the year. The second installment comes out the second half. If you're late paying your bill and the county gives you a 30, 45, 60-day grace period to pay that tax bill with the smallest amount of interest possible. Because the Cook County and the city of Chicago rely on our property taxes to pay into their revenue coffers, so to speak, to help them pay their bills, then whatever other means that are legal to assist them with getting some revenue in is what they use. Now, when we are given the 2 years to redeem, unfortunately, that means that an investor, by way of that legal system for the city or a county to still get some revenue, the investors come in and pay up your tax bill, and they say to the city, you know, if you allow me to acquire this property, if this person doesn't pay me back within a certain amount of time, then I can put my monies up for a period of time to make that happen. And that period of time is 2 years. We have to do a better job. Our communities have to do a better job at doing outreach to find other resources, other means of paying those taxes on time. Unfortunately, that's just the way the system is. We didn't put that ordinance in place. Somebody did, which goes right back to what I was saying earlier. Our representatives that we elect to think that they have our best interest at hand should make us fully knowledgeable of the laws that they're putting in place that control our livelihood. So you've got to go back to the alderman. And your first point of contact when a family is having issues with paying the property tax bill, knowing that it could be as low as $600 for one half of the tax bill, sometimes lesser than that if it's an elderly person, a senior with a senior freeze. The family, friends, the community has to step in first before that bill gets delinquent to the point that an investor can pay that bill for them. And the only thing that the investor is doing is securing that that bill is paid, and the city accepts that as revenue coming in. But we've got to do a better job on the front end within that delayed period that you're allowed to pay that tax bill, and make sure that you can pay it with the lowest interest rate by way of the county and the city before an investor is allowed that. So I hear what you're saying, but unfortunately, we all say that this is all business, and the city looks at this as business and not as a humanitarian position. They try to reduce the bills for our elders as low as possible according to their income, which means that they could go as low as a senior freeze and pay as little as $0 or pay according to their income. And then the next ones are making sure you've got your homeowner's exemption status, helping you reduce that tax liability, and whatever other exemptions that a homeowner is entitled to. So, but at the end of the day, caller, it's really all about business. But I hear what you're saying. Our purpose and foremost is to inform the community of what services are available to you, but your alderman has just as much responsibility to let the community, let their constituents know that you could lose your home by way of not being able to pay your taxes up before that redemption period is over with. And you can lose your home by way of the high interest rates that are put on for someone paying your tax bill if you don't pay within that short window that they give you. So I hear what you're saying, but like I said, we're the NAACP. We're here to help disseminate as much information as we can to our communities. And I just want to give you our location, our number one more time. The first Saturdays of every month, this coming Saturday, is our general meeting open to the public, and we welcome new members. But we're located at 5820 West Chicago Avenue. Our office number, 773-261-5890. But 5820 West Chicago Avenue, we're hosting our monthly meeting this Saturday, and the meeting starts at 1 p.m. So hopefully you can join us. Some other things that I had on here is, why don't we know, what we don't know. Let me go back. I went over the Making Home Affordable, letting you know that it will end the end of this year, December 31st, 2016. And what we don't know is what program will take its place. But we also know, and this is in closing, we also know that there's a presidential election, November 2016. Are you participating? Are you registered to vote? And if not, why not? There's still time for you to register to vote, but the most important thing that you do after you're a registered voter is to actually exercise your right to vote. I think it would be even more harmful if you didn't participate in this thing that we fought so hard for, to make your best interests as a stakeholder in your community come to be. By not participating, we always tell people, if you don't exercise that right to vote, if you don't participate in electing people who represent you and then hold those individuals accountable, then we don't know how you can truly be against whatever processes come after the fact. It's almost like saying, you own the house, but you never go to visit your own home. And if it tumbles down in the process, you were never there to see it progress or to see it stand strong. So we have to hold each other accountable. We have to continuously ask our constituents, our neighbors, our friends, register to vote, and then exercise that right to vote. Once again, I'm Phyllis Logan, the host for the Chicago Westside branch. Our logo over my shoulder here says, All Lives Matter. Our national theme is that all lives matter and Black lives matter too. So that's us, the Chicago Westside branch NAACP. I'm Phyllis Logan, your host, and I look forward to talking with you guys again next weekend. If you're able to make our meeting this evening at 6:30 p.m., we would greatly appreciate your participation. But also, if you're able to make our meetings this Saturday at 1 p.m., we invite you, we welcome you with open arms to participate in the conversation at our monthly meetings, hear what programs, what opportunities, what concerns we have as a whole, but also an opportunity for you to become a member. So I thank you for your time this evening, and I look forward to speaking with you next week, next Thursday, 5:30 p.m. And if your friends or family members don't have access to CAN TV 21, tell them that we are available live online at cantv.org. Until then, thank you. And I want to say enjoy the NBA game this evening if you're watching. Thank you.